Chapter 2. The Rock Philosophy. The old man had a distant look in his eyes, as if he were watching something happening far away. Then he started to speak slowly. I have found great teachers don't teach as such, they share their knowledge. So all I ask is you help me here and share with me what was the start of my journey. As you listen to this, my story, remember its content, so that no matter where you are, you will always be reminded of the story, as if you were there with me, as a part of me, and imagine you're on this beach. You can see and hear the waves breaking on the shore. The sun is rising and its rays are reflecting brightly on the water. The sand dunes with the rough, coarse grass sprouting out are behind you. You are sitting under the palm tree, your back against its trunk, the bright sunshine being broken by the gently swaying branches above you. Their shadows dance across your vision, mesmerizing you. You smell the salt water, and in the distance you hear a solitary gull. Now you are very aware of the sun-warm breeze as it caresses your skin. Your eyes become heavy, so heavy you cannot keep them open. As your mind starts to drift into a cozy dreamlike state, you become aware of 4 rocks which are between you and the sea. Between the sounds of the surf you hear voices as if the rocks are talking to each other. Here we go, another day on the beach, said Rock 1. Yes, well, someone has got to do it, said Rock 2. I can't think of anywhere else I would like to be, said Rock 3. Then a very large, deep voice said, I have never been anywhere else. This was Rock 4. There was a collective from the others at this. Rock 2 said, Never been anywhere else? No, I have always been here, replied the big, deep voice of Rock 4. Wait a minute, said Rock 1. I don't believe you. You have always been here, on this beach. No. Don't be silly, said Rock 4 in an exasperated tone. What do you mean then? This was Rock 3, who was chuckling, thinking the deep voice was out of it completely. Of course I am here. Where else could I be? Rock 4's deep voice was starting to sound hurt. Now the others seemed to be making fun of him. Look, Rock 1 said, how could you be here when you most obviously are not always here? As you listen, you hear the aggressive confidence each attaches to their individual statements. That is, except for Rock 4, who seems slower. As you listen to their conversations, you are startled by a voice which seems to erupt from where you are sitting. You are now aware of another rock, which is resting at the side of the tree where your physical body is resting. Rock 5 now makes itself heard by the other rocks. Will you please keep quiet? I am in the middle of my daily communion with God. God? God? What God? Asked Rock 1, who was now appearing to assume control of the group, becoming the leader, at least in his mind. Just as I thought, you're a bunch of heathens living outside the grace of God, stated Rock 5 to whoever would listen. You are doomed to live your lives without knowing what true life is all about because you obviously have never found the answer. Rock 2 now felt he should be the one to lead. What answer would this be? He asked. Just then a large wave swept up the beach and lifted Rock 2 away. Rock 5 could not keep the glee from his voice. See what happens when you don't believe in God? Rock 1 reasserted his lead. What are you talking about? You are plain crazy. That was only a wave which carried him away. You don't see a wave carrying me away, do you? Said Rock 5 in the voice of righteousness, because I believe in God. Rock 3 couldn't wait to answer, the excitement in his voice apparent to all. This was his chance to say something meaningful. It didn't carry us away either, and we don't know this God you are talking about. Just wait, said Rock 5 vehemently. I am protected. I sit here every day at God's roots. He shades me from the hot sun. Birds sit on his branches and sing to me every day. I am truly blessed. You sit where you are with no shelter, waves rolling over the top of you. Rock 4, now in his slow, deep voice, finally made himself heard against his more vociferous neighbours. I have always been here. Wherever and whenever I am is here. Each moment is where I am, wherever that is. So, Mr. Under the Tree Rock, you may think you have God's protection, which you do with the rest of us. However, it is always with us rocks, in the here and now. There was a stunned silence because of his slow manner, which really wasn't slow, just not rushed. No one had expected Rock 4 to know so many words, far less able to put them together and make sense. Rock 5 could not control himself now, nearly incandescent with rage. his voice becoming increasingly louder and angrier. How can you say this? What do you know? You're out there in the open. You haven't been here with God. This goes for any of you. You all deserve what you've got. Again there was a stunned silence. The three rocks said nothing, although now they joined together in unspoken yet virtually tangible solidarity against Rock 5. They then proceeded to ignore him completely. During the silence there was a flapping sound which grew louder as a seagull descended on Rock 3. The seagull settled comfortably and began to preen itself. It was obviously oblivious to the rock's conversation as they communicated in a totally different way from the seagull. Rock 3 wasn't happy with the seagull resting on him. He said with a degree of frustration in his voice, "Why do these creatures always land on me? It's not as if I have fungus growing on me for them to peck at." Rock 1, sounding very knowledgeable, replied, "Well, it is all to do with your shape. You see, you are quite a narrow rock. Your top part is very comfortable for the seagull to get a grip with its feet." Rock 3 just hummed for a minute before he answered, "That may be, but as you can see I'm all chipped and it takes me all my time to stand up like this in the sand, then this blasted bird lands on me." Rock 4 in his very deep voice now spoke again, every word slow, but not too slow. He spoke as if he had all the time in the world. "Is there any particular reason you stand like that?" "It is okay for you. You are very broad on the bottom, and even you are large on top too. You probably never get lifted by the sea very much," said Rock 3. "That's right," interjected Rock 1. "Look at me. I am narrow at the bottom and broad on top. The waves don't normally lift me because a good part of me is buried under the sand. What I don't like is when the waves are strong and they move me about. You, though," he continued, addressing Rock 4, "thus look as if it would take a lot to move you." "What a load of rubbish. You are all cast about by winds and sea because you don't believe in anything," shouted Rock 5. The slow deep voice of Rock 4 answered, "Whether we believe or not, whatever we believe in or not, the sun shines, the rain falls, the waves come, we all play our part, and I for one don't interfere with others. Everyone has their own inner strength and voice. Whether we use it and listen to it or not is a matter of choice." The yes noises coming from Rock 1 and Rock 3 kind of implied this was what they were going to say too. Again Rock 5 adopted a sullen silence. Rock 1, now with an element of respect in his voice which nicely replaced the disparaging element from earlier, asked Rock 4, "What inner strength and voice do I have?" Do me first, demanded Rock 3. "I told you my problem first." The seagull, who had finished preening, decided to leave a little present on Rock 3 before flying off. Rock 3 was now nearly as angry as Rock 5 had been earlier. He shouted, "Look at what this bird has done to me. I'm sure the stuff he leaves eats into me. I hate it." "Really?" was the response from Rock 1. "I love it when that happens. I find it is a nice, gentle, cooling effect which never lasts long enough, for it either dries and cracks and falls off, or the insects eat it, or even worse, a wave will come in and wash it off straight away." "You are kidding, aren't you?" replied Rock 3 in total disbelief. "What about you?" he asked Rock 4. There was a short pause as if Rock 4 was collecting his thoughts. "Everything you have asked me, and everything that has happened, answers your questions." "It is easy for you to say because you are higher than us and can see things more clearly," said Rock 1. "Let's look at it, shall we?" answered Rock 4 in his slow, meaningful way. "Both of you are not happy about your shape, about how you are affected by the things which are around you. Now," he dropped his voice slightly, "our friend under the tree, what experience has he got from under his tree?" "Probably not a lot, by the sound of it," replied Rock 3. "So it would appear he has got used to the situation he is in and believes it is the only way. This doesn't make him wrong. Perhaps it is better for him," continued Rock 4. "Why do you lie the way you do in the sand?" "This is the way I've always sat in the sand," said Rock 1. "Me too," said Rock 3. "Take the other rock which got taken away by the waves. Could he control it?" asked Rock 4. "No," replied Rock 1. Rock 4 continued, "I was lifted by a large wave when I landed here. What could I do but go with the flow? I landed where I landed, and I am settled until I get moved again. When you land, allow yourself to change from what you normally do. It has nothing to do with your shape, it is how you use it." "What can I do?" asked Rock 1. The same question was echoed by rock 3. The answer is simple. Don't just think what you do is the only way, answered rock 4. When you are swept in by the wave, make sure you land differently. Where you are tall and thin, lie flat. It makes a difference. You won't attract seagulls the same way, and you may not be swept about as much. When you are narrow in the bottom, make sure your narrow side is up and your broad side is down. Then you will attract all the seagulls you wish, and you will not be moved about as much by the waves either. As the rocks pause for reflection, you find yourself becoming more alert. You open your eyes and shake your head in disbelief at your experience. You go to stand up, reaching out for support with your right hand on the ground. You realize your supporting hand was resting on a rock and not the sand. You keep hold of the rock as you rise, and steadying yourself, you unconsciously cast the rock as far as you can into the sea. Realizing the implication of what you have just done, you quickly make up your mind to move from where you are. As you step forward over the 3 remaining rocks, you hear a voice which you're sure came from the palm tree. He never asked me if I was God, and now he is gone. You walk home along the beach and see a small flat rock being washed up on the beach. You stop and stare at it, and the familiarity between this rock and rock 2 is uncanny. You pick it up, turning it over in your hands. You see the different veins running through the rock. Some look like gold. You decide to take the rock home with you as you feel unexpected warmth coming from it. When you arrive home, you sit holding the rock, feeling its gentle energy flowing through you, and you find, strangely, your mind drifting again. You find yourself looking down on the beach where you had been. You even see yourself lying under the tree. With this aerial view, you see the 4 rocks on the beach near you, and you see rock 5 beside you. The wave comes in, which carries rock 2 off, and you follow its journey. Thank you for joining me for chapter 2. I hope you'll join me again for chapter 3. Thank you.